what's going on? So you're going to see me take you through this full workout from warm-up all the way down to that last exercise. So as you can see right here, what I'm going to start out with is a hamstring mobility exercise. So we're going to pull our knee in, then we're going to extend the knee at the top, really trying to lengthen that hamstring at the peak of usually where we're most tight. And then I'm going to slow eccentrics, that's just the downward movement. You're going to see me do a lot of tempo counts today, and I'll explain what that means as I go. And then we're going to transition, which you'll see next. We're going to transition into a spider stretch, we'll call it. We're going to focus on the inside of the leg, opening up our hips and our pelvic area, as well as a thoracic spine rotation. You see me put my hand behind my head and open up just like this. You're going to see me keep this square. I'm not going to allow anything else to open up besides my torso and my chest as I rotate. That's a good phenomenal stretch, and you'll see how it connects to the exercises we're going to do next. Then I'm going to transition into a half kneeling. I'm going to put a little weight behind it. I'm just going to hold a 10-pound plate. Hip flexor stretch. You're going to see me just slightly. It's very slight, subtle movement. I'm going to extend my hip forward. I'm going to squeeze my backside to allow that extension and allow me to feel the deep stretch that we're looking for, especially in our hip flexor area, which we're going to utilize a lot with some of our unilateral movements, single leg movements today. So what we're going to see into my first strength exercise, which you're going to see right here, is going to do a little core stability. I love transitioning core into all of the exercises that I do, which you'll most likely see in everything that I do. We're going to have a tempo count, which I said is called time of attention. So what that's going to do with what we're focused on, we're focused on a little power and stability, core activation, core strengthening, mobility. You're going to see me load up, and I'm going to isolate the core parts. That's when my legs are raised, and then I'm going to slow count down about 3-4 seconds and punch up. We're going to do a little bit of chest, compound exercise. You're going to see me now transition into my kettlebell deadlift. So we're doing a push-pull concept here. We're going to come down for about 4 to 5 seconds. Again, on the eccentric, the downward movement. I'm going to hinge, keeping my back neutral, but my hips straight back, knees slightly bent at about a 30-degree angle. Then my next exercise, what I'm going to transition into, is what we're going to do is split squat, goblet hold, core activation, focus on stabilizing the spine. You're going to see my knee never comes forward during the downward movement. I'm going to have a slight pause at the bottom, 3 seconds on the way down, and then I'm going to shoot up again. We can call this more anterior, let's call it front engagement. So we're going to get more of that quad activation. We're focused on the knee, and then we're going to come down again, a squat variation. That's why it's called a split squat. I'm going to transition. I'm actually going to compound set this right into a lateral power-based plyometric movement, which I love doing. I like to give the feel of athleticism and all my workouts, athlete or non-athlete. We're going to land, we're going to absorb. Part of where the tempo count for my reason for the split squat is we're coming down 1, 2, 3. We're going to almost, like we're pulling the band, and I'll explain this a lot through anything that I'm posting or anything that I explain. We're building elastic energy, we're pulling the band, and then we let it go and it explodes. It's kind of the tempo count for the split squat that I'm supersetting and allowing a plyometric power-based movement to happen. Pause, absorb, reload, single leg landing, a lot of joint coordination stuff going there. So that's what we'll transition to. And then my last exercise, you'll see me do a pull down. Now we're firing posterior, specifically back. We're going to allow some hip extension into hip flexion into hip extension. We're going to squeeze our backside. We're going to pull the band down on our sides, never keeping connected to our side, allowing the stability factor, allow more intensity for our back to fire. Again, stabilize our spine, core is engaged, and again, we're load, and explode through the hips, and making sure our arms, for the most part, maybe 5 to 10 degree bend in our elbows a little bit, but nothing more than that. We're pulling at our sides 2 to 3 inches outside of our hips. That's a good posterior. You're going to see, again, we're doing a lot of push, pull, opposite, and again, the idea of that is for full recovery. We want our bodies to recover during the workout as we're breaking them down, and especially after the workout. We don't want to overtrain our bodies. So I like to work a lot of times, especially with beginners and in general, depending on how many times a week they work with me or what's planned, a lot of total body exercise. I do a lot of total body compound movements because that seems most effective. And for the most part it is, depending on your goals, most effective way to train. Again, the key component there is adapt, but also make sure you're allowing your body to recover at all times. If it's not recovering, then basically at the end of the day, like I said, you're going to end up overtraining your body, causing more stress, therefore, more body fat, less muscle. If anything, that'll depreciate over time in muscle mass, and that's what we want to avoid. So definitely here's your full workout. You'll see kind of the idea and what I'm focused on, 3 sets of everything. You'll see if I tell you to do a superset, everything will be linked there. And again, we can get this through this is an app sample workout, guys. So all this and the way I'm conversating with you, you'll get the visualization and coaching notes and direct contact with me to be able to feel like I'm right with you as you're doing the workouts when you're on your own in the app.